Ecuadorian authorities have announced new restrictions to curb the spread of COVID-19, including a curfew and ban on alcohol sales. Hurricane Isaias is moving through the Caribbean region and continues its path towards the United States. Iraqi authorities announced on Friday that parliamentary elections will be held in June 2021. From the headquarters of Telesur English in Havana, Cuba, this is From the South. I'm Katrina Goss. Ecuadorian authorities this Friday announced that new restrictions will be implemented to curb the spread of COVID-19 in 18 of the 24 provinces of the country, including a curfew and a ban on alcohol sales. The measures will be enforced for the next 2 weeks. According to the National Emergency Operations Committee, a curfew will be enforced from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. Friday to Sunday and start at 9 p.m. from Monday through Thursday. In addition, authorities have banned the sale of alcohol over the weekend, except in 4-star restaurants authorized by the Interior Ministry and tourist establishments as authorized by the Ministry of Tourism. Ecuador has reported over 85,000 coronavirus cases and more than 5,000 fatalities, but the official numbers are expected to fall short of the reality. Argentinian President Alberto Fernandez has warned that the number of COVID-19 cases is increasing after 6,000 new cases were confirmed on Thursday.
Hasta el 16 de agosto.
Until August 17th, we will keep things as they are, but I can say that over the past few days we have seen the virus has been going around more, and a higher number of cases has been detected.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro announced the opening of a field hospital to treat COVID-19 patients in the capital, Caracas, this Friday. President Maduro noted that the hospital will have almost 900 beds available to treat COVID-19 patients with mild symptoms and monitor asymptomatic cases. Maduro also offered an update on the number of COVID-19 cases in the country, reporting that 664 locally transmitted cases and 51 imported cases were confirmed over the past 24 hours. Of the imported cases, 46 came from Colombia, 4 from Peru and 1 from Ecuador. And the Venezuelan president requested the support of the World Health Organization and the Pan American Health Organization to establish a dialogue with Colombia in order to control the situation on their shared border in the face of the coronavirus pandemic.
We have asked for help from the World Health Organization, the Pan American Health Organization, because we are obliged to coordinate public policies for the protection of the health of our peoples, along the huge border with Colombia and at the border with Brazil. If we had health support from the Colombian side, things would be very different, very different.
Chilean President Sebastián Piñera is presenting the 2020 public account on his administration this Friday. At 8 p.m. local time, President Piñera began his address before a session of Congress, offering a review of his administrative and political policies over the past year. Police have closed streets surrounding the Congress building. In the face of ongoing social unrest in Chile, the Workers' United Center of Chile Federation called for a national mobilization in rejection of the Piñera administration, including a nationwide pot-banging protest at 9 p.m. On Thursday night, the military police of the Brazilian state of Sao Paulo repressed a peaceful demonstration of the homeless workers movement as it approached the Bandeirantes Palace, seat of the state government and the governor's official residence. The demonstration was called to demand that the state governor suspend thousands of evictions during the current economic and health crisis. In response, the military police repeatedly used tear gas to disperse protesters, who denounced that this act was even more inhumane under the current circumstances, with a coronavirus that attacks the respiratory system of those it infects. We'll be right back after this short break, so don't go away. Welcome back to From the South. Hurricane Isaias is moving through the Caribbean region and continues its path towards the United States, which is preparing to face the impact. The weather phenomenon is expected to arrive in Florida on Saturday and threatens to strengthen to a Category 2 hurricane. U.S. authorities have issued a hurricane alert on the East Coast. The hurricane will move through Bahamas this Friday, where the government has already declared a preventative curfew and set up 100 evacuation shelters. In Cuba, storm surges were reported in the northeastern region, with waves 4 to 6 meters high. The storm left at least one person dead in the Dominican Republic, as well as causing damage to infrastructure, water supplies and power lines, while 700 homes were damaged and at least 79 people displaced due to the strong rains and flooding. And as Hurricane Isaias heads north and approaches South Florida, U.S. residents are preparing for a difficult situation in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our correspondent Jorge Gestoso has the details.
Thank you. At this hour, Hurricane Isaias is heading northwest and it's expected to hit the coast of the South Florida probably tomorrow night, Saturday night. We are anticipating showers of a lot of rain. And there is that extremely difficulty because of the coronavirus. Shelters could be absolutely organized in a different way because authorities are trying to reorganize the situation according to this new virus. In the case of North Carolina, we're talking that the governor of North Carolina says that he recommends people to go to shelters as the last resource, trying to go to hotels if they could, going to friends' places if they could try to possibly avoid. And shelters could be divided in two cases. In the cases of people who feel okay, to trying to respect the social distancing, and people who are feeling some symptoms that could be of coronavirus, that could be going to special shelters. So the impact of Hurricane Isaias could be hitting all the northeast throughout the coming days. We're talking that North Carolina is expecting probably hitting their coast by in the night of Monday or even early on Tuesday, but of course the path, the situation is very fluid. We get back to you now.
Thank you, Jorge. And the governor of Florida announced he had signed an executive order to declare a state of emergency in every coastal county of the state's east coast as Hurricane Isaias approaches.
The last 24 hours, Isaias has strengthened to a Category 1 hurricane with maximum sustained winds of 75 miles per hour. To ensure the state's fully prepared for impact, I just signed an executive order to declare a state of emergency in every coastal county up Florida's east coast, from Miami-Dade to Nassau counties. While current projections have the eye of Isaias remaining at sea, the situation remains fluid and can change quickly. While we do not currently believe shelters will be necessary for this storm, we will be ready if they do become necessary. The division created new and detailed shelter guidance for all counties in light of COVID-19 and has prepared shelter kits with hand sanitizer, masks, and gloves ready to be deployed on request.
This Friday morning, Havana city historian Eusebio Leal Spengler passed away, having battled a long illness. Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel announced a period of national mourning until midnight August 1st, during which the national flag will be flown at half-mast.
Cubans woke up to sad news this Friday. Eusebio Leal, known as the eternal lover of the city of Havana, passed away, leaving a lasting mark on the Cuban nation, which so admires, respects and loves him. And it is really a great loss, an educated man, a man who contributed so much to Cuba, to Havana, and we will really feel this great loss.
In my case, as an orator, as an historian, as everything, I have always enjoyed listening to him, and I feel as if I've lost a dear relative. This has been very sad news for me.
This is a very big loss for Cuban culture. Eusebio Leal will always be remembered walking through the streets of Havana, working tirelessly to rescue and restore the heritage of the city that he loved most of all, and to which he dedicated his entire life.
The city is intact. It was not demolished, nor was its destruction allowed. And when you go to the higher ground, for example, the Plaza de la Revolución, and you see Havana from above, You can observe incredible urban planning, and you don't see the imperfections that time has caused. But when you touch it, the city comes to life like a butterfly. That's its mystery.
Y revive como una mariposa. Ese es su misterio.
Eusebio's work significantly contributed to the conservation of Havana's patrimony, crucial for Cuban culture and history. I think he was a figure who contributed a lot to our development, both to our history as well as our monuments and the reconstruction of old Havana. He was a person who did a lot for Havana and a man with what marvelous culture, and we owe him a lot, especially due to the recoveries in the historic city center. This Friday, as Telesur concludes its 15th anniversary month, it does so with eternal gratitude to Eusebio Leal, who in July 24, 2005, inaugurated the first live broadcast from Telesur's correspondence office in the Cuban capital. His work and legacy were always shared on our screen because, as renowned Cuban poet Fina Garcia Maricruz once said, "One man lived and forgotten him, he will still be remembered by the stones."
La joya, sin cemento, sin acero, sin una cercha, mira la escalera.
Nayara Tardo, Telesur, La Habana.
European Union authorities announced the entry into force of a trade agreement with Vietnam starting on August 1st.
The most comprehensive trade agreement that the EU has concluded with a developing country will be effective as of tomorrow, 1st of August. Tariffs will go down and the agreement will ultimately scrap duties on 99% of all goods traded between the two sides. This is particularly positive in times where our economy needs every opportunity to recover. Under the new agreement, the economic benefits will go hand in hand with guarantees of respect for labour rights, environment protection and the Paris Agreement on climate.
Representatives of Spain's autonomous communities met with Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez this Friday to discuss the distribution of European Union resources in the country. The leaders discussed the economic and social issues facing the country amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, including community deficit and debt capacity. The Prime Minister promised he would take part in the determinations over the use of the €140 billion that the European Union has pledged to Spain. We have more stories coming up after this final short break, so stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. Iraqi authorities announced on Friday that parliamentary elections will be held in June 2021.
I announced that June 6, 2021 has been fixed as the day for the next legislative elections. Everything will be done to protect and ensure the success of these polls. The election will take place with the presence of international observers, and we pledge to give all the candidates protection and equality during the election. It will not be affected by the guns, nor will it go against the people's will.
At least 8 people were arrested in Israel as the protests against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu continue. Israeli police forces used water cannons and mounted police to disperse protesters who've been mobilizing for the past 5 weeks, calling for the Prime Minister to resign. Meanwhile, supporters of Netanyahu have joined security forces in repressing protesters. According to local media, supporters of the ruling party threatened demonstrators and journalists, even chanting fascist slogans. Despite the repression, thousands of protesters continue to gather in front of the PM's residence. The ruling party of the Ivory Coast has called on current President Alassane Ouattara to stand in the elections set to take place on October 31st, following the death of his chosen successor earlier this month. The request was made by the party's political council on Thursday, following a conference to select a presidential candidate earlier this week. With the president's support, the RHDP party had previously supported the candidature of Ivorian Prime Minister Amadou Gon Coulibaly, who passed away on July 8th. Meanwhile, President Ouattara has asked the party for time to reflect and recover following Gon Coulibaly's death before making his final decision on whether to stand. Kenyan health authorities confirmed 723 new COVID-19 cases on Friday.
We tested some 8,679 samples in the last 24 hours. Out of that sample size, 723 people have tested positive, which means that the number of positive cases cumulatively in Kenya have now gone over the 300,000 mark to 303,959. From the cases reported here, 700 are Kenyans, while 23 are foreigners.
Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni announced he will contest the elections to be held between January and February 2021. President Museveni was selected as candidate of the ruling National Resistance Movement on Friday. He's been president of Uganda since 1986 when he came to power in a coup. Meanwhile, the strongest opposition presidential candidate is a pop star and lawmaker, Robert Kyagulanyi, also known as Bobi Wine, who has become popular among young voters. Thousands of Nigerian refugees who fled violence by Boko Haram terrorists attended Eid al-Adha prayers in the city of Maiduguri on Friday.
I am very excited for the freedom to conduct such a congressional prayer amidst the challenges bedeling us people still converge to pray in congregation.
I am highly elated and grateful. May God continue to guide as well as protect them all. May He also accept our good and righteous deeds. We also fast, may God accept it from all of us. As we peacefully gather here, may God in His infinite mercy give each and every one of us a safe return to our various destinations. May we witness more and more years ahead.
And we've come to the end of this news brief, but we finish with a video of Havana city historian Eusebio Leal, who dedicated his life to the Cuban capital and passed away this Friday. Remember, you can find these and many other stories on our website and social media pages. For Teleso English, I'm Katrina Goss. Thank you for watching.
Yo no aspiro a nada. No aspiro ni siquiera a eso que llaman la posteridad. Yo no aspiro a nada. Yo solo aspiro a haber sido útil. Y le pido perdón a todos aquellos que a lo largo de la vida, en la búsqueda necesaria de lo que creí mi verdad, pueda haber ofendido, y a mis propios errores que cometí con la pasión juvenil en que todo hombre y todo pueblo busca sus propios caminos. Yo creo que al final lo encontré, y que esa luz que veo ahora ahí en medio de las tinieblas del ocaso es finalmente el camino.